another episode of PlugTalk. This time we got another special guest. We got someone that he does a lot of work behind the scenes. He's been out here for years. Editor of Complex, co-founder of Trench. None other than, what should I call you, JP or
call
like?
me JP, yeah.
None other than.
I call it Joseph JP Patterson all long, but JP's cool.
Man, the name is
cool.
JP in it, so we got JP in the studio today.
Nice one, man. Nice one.
If there was bare people here, they'd all clap and that, but it's just a few of us, so no clap.
It now, like.
But yeah, I wanted to get JP on the podcast because obviously there's a lot of media platforms and blogs and websites and that picking up, but I think it would be good to talk to someone that's been in this for quite a long time and that's done like different things to kind of get an idea of the do's and don'ts of what to do when you're building an online media platform. So let's throw it back then. How did you begin writing? Like, what made you want to start writing about music?
You know what? It came accidentally because obviously where I grew up, the people I grew up around, journalism, it's not something you automatically think, oh, I'm going to grow up and be a journalist. I definitely fell into it, but how I started in the music industry was, let me break it down now. I had a Grime rave in Northampton, April the 27th, 2007.
Very specific date.
Yeah, I'll never forget it because that's the day when it was like official. It was called Chock-a-Block, and I booked Skepta, Tinchy Strider, Logan Sama, like a few people just in some dingy little ghetto Caribbean club in Northampton, like, and it was ram out. Skepta came in his like army jacket, and it's been like iconic, that raves. People still talk about it all now. So it's like from there, I got approached by AJAY nightclub in London to do like a monthly grime event. So I was there for like 3-4 years, and then the last one I held was in 2011. So yeah, that's how I got into the music industry. But I started a blog like a year after I started the rave, so like 2008. I put a blog together just to put like flyers and videos that I rated or whatnot. And then I thought to myself, do you know what? I used to read like Fiddy's, Chantel Fiddy, and them people, they Prancel, Hyper Frank, they were all bloggers. But like, I kind of fell into it because I was in that London scene. Used to come down, go Dirty Canvas, like the official grime raves, Dirty Canvas and Urban Nerds and stuff. So I was in amongst that, media scene, if you want to call it, which was different. It was just like, it was different. And then, I just kind of I don't want to say fall in love with the writing, but like I just got into it. Started sending pictures to people, and then one day I sent a pitch to this magazine called Super Magazine, and then there was like, oh, do you want to write? Cause I was based up in Northampton, innit? So I moved from Stockwell to Northampton when I was 13, and I came back in 2014, so I was there like half my life. So yeah.
So you moved Stockwell like the ends as well. So you moved like from the ends to like Quay out.
Quay. Proper. And then friggin' so Super Zoo, I pitched a piece on like the bassline music scene. Like it's like 4/4, it's like Speed Garage or whatever. I used to go raving up in Nice, Sheffield every weekend, so I was a part of that scene as well. So I wrote a piece, 3-page thing, and they liked it. They said the people loved what I did. I had Tim and Barry on photography as well. I knew them from time as well. So from there was like, oh, do you want to be a contribute music editor? That was just, all right, cool. I didn't even know what it meant at the time. Do you know what I'm saying?
What's so Tim and Barry asked you to like do stuff for them?
No, basically the magazine assigned Tim and Barry to come and take the pictures in the rave. It was like when I'm telling you, gunman dance, like, oh, shout out As It Is TV and them lot. So them days, so from there, there's like, oh, do you want to be a contribute music editor? And then from there, I just started pitching to like NME, Mix Mag, Rewind, The Voice newspaper, like, and it started coming in slowly because I didn't study journalism, innit? So I taught myself. I literally read, and I started to figure out, okay, this is how you string a sentence along. I got parred by a couple editors like, don't email me again so you know how to make a sentence. It was bad, innit? Like,
you say it was that bad? Like,
no, it was bad still. Because like even in the super thing, like they used to let me write how I want, like Wagwan and you get that. It was just slang. I used to write in slang, innit?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm texting or whatever. And they used to like that. So it was hard to transition from that to like writing spoken, like proper. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And then so that's how it kind of happened, man. That's how it kind of happened. I've been doing it for a little minute now, like 10, 11 years.
So when did it go from a point where it was like this is like your hobby or something you do for fun to a point where this is now like your career or the thing that's kind of bringing in a bit of bread?
Some lady called Arthur, shout out Arthur Butt. She said she was following my work online for a long time. Hit me up on Facebook message. It was like, oh, we're looking for someone like a editor for the urban section of MTV. Urban hashtag that's black music section, isn't it? For MTV.
You know, there's no corresponding, just as a tangent, there's no corresponding white word for urban. It's like you don't group rock, indie, all of this as just like creamy music or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so like MTV, like I said, Arthur hit me up on Facebook Messenger. It was like, oh, do you want to come in, have a little chat with a guy called Akil? Because they're looking for an editor for the urban site. It was called a Wrap Up. I don't know.
Yeah, on MTV Wrap Up. Yeah,
when it was popping, obviously.
That section was popping back in the day.
Yeah. We had it popping for a minute still, and then so I met Akil. It weren't really an interview. It was just like, hi and bye. When can you start? And I was like, oh, raw. And it was a big responsibility. It's MTV, so he got me in. I did like again hashtag urban music news stories, for like the main MTV site, as well as looking after the MTV blogs, the Wrap Up site. So from there it kind of got a bit serious. So like, I had writers, commission writers, and then that's when I kind of got into the whole editor space, and then that's when I kind of took it serious because it was a big deal. Do you know what I mean? When I was MTV, like everyone in the ends, MTV, JP. So it was a big deal. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of got a bit real from there. So man.
Okay. So how'd you go to? When did you move over to Complex?
Complex, right? So Complex. Right, I finished MTV. I was there for 2.5 years. Then I moved from MTV UK to MTV Iggy, which is based in New York. So I was like they're contributing like UK correspondent sort of thing. So I had like a retainer or whatever. Then 2014 come. I got a message on my LinkedIn from a guy called Steve Slocum. Now Steve, he ran Super Super back in the day, He was the one that gave me the commission for the baseline story,
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I heard from you for a little while, 'cause obviously Super Super closed in like 2012 or whatever. I heard from you for a little while, like how you doing and what you up to, where are you based now? I said, oh, I'm based in Northampton. Can't move back after a while. And then he was like, oh, so do you wanna come down? I wanna have a chat with you. And I was like, cool. So we just started this new magazine in the UK called Complex. I was like, what? Come on, I know what Complex is, but a UK version. Like, do you want to come on as a music editor? I was like, rah. That was a dream, because I used to pitch the Complex. I used to look for the editors' email addresses for days and days. It got air, and then he just hit me up. It was like, yeah. And then, can you start the following week? I started the following week. Literally, I told Dad I need a space to come down to stay in London. I started the following week, bro. So it's been since 2014. I'm still there now.
Like you mentioned there, it was a big deal kind of thing. Like, it's a big American site. So I feel like there would be a misconception that because it's big in America, you come over to England, apply a few of the business principles, bam, you're going to get the same results. But for me, because of, like, I don't think it works like that. And even more so because in America, what you'd write about is far more established. But when they're saying come over to the UK, even 2014, I know Grime, they say Grime kind of rose up, I don't know, 2011, but then it dipped again. But even these dips and peaks and whatnot, it's still not like a safe bet, if you know what I mean. So were you able to rely on that big American brand name? Or if not, like, what kind of step did you have to take to establish Complex as a UK? Like, how did you establish Complex UK essentially?
Right, well, from the beginning, like, Steve already knew what I was on. I'm a grime road rap guy. Like, those are my two genres that I focus on heavy. So we came into this like, we're gonna use that as that's what we're building Complex UK on. Just built on it from there, like, and it worked. I mean, it worked. We're still here, innit? Well, yeah, most of the team are still there, but we just used that and made that our pattern. That was our thing. Like, we made sure we were strong on it. We knew exactly what we were talking about. I can't be having novices around me. You got to know what we're on and go forward, because you got all these other websites claiming they're from the culture, but not really. Don't see you in the raves. Don't see you on road. Like, so yeah.
I hear that. So what was some, like, in the time between 2014 and now, what are some of the memorable kind of things that Complex have done? Like, for example, like, I know it doesn't quite, like, for those that don't know, it don't quite work out like you set up a blog, you do a big interview, you go to the stratosphere. But there is, I would say it's true that you can do certain pieces of work and content that help you that you can look back on and say, like, yeah, that helped me grow. Like, for example, last year when we launched, we did a couple good shoots with Michael Dapper and Mo the Comedian. So people, for a while, I can look back and say that kind of helped us hit the next kind of step, kind of thing. So what were some of those steps for Complex?
Do you know what, we did one piece called why is Drake moving like a UK roadman? It went nuts. He put it on his Instagram and it went mad. Like,
what Drake did?
Yeah, because we basically linked it because he was bigging up Top Boy, the TV show, and then we'll big up Toby Oki. He wrote the piece and it's basically saying he's not necessarily copying us. Like, Canada, they've already got their own scene, but it's very similar to our scene. And then he read it somehow, put on his Instagram, mad, bare followers on Instagram, mad. Like, it just went mad. But we had a couple times that happened. I'm trying to think of but that's the main one.
That one, Drake one,
that was a big look. Like, that's like,
What about the other side? Because, like, obviously as well, when you're running, one big thing with just public, I don't know, like, consumption is we only know what we see in it. So, like, with running a website, like I said, then we'll see that Drake article and think, oh, mad, Complex are hard. But in the other weeks leading up to that, like, it might have been rough and we know nothing about that. So what are some of the challenges of managing Complex and growing this American brand in the UK? Because I feel like that's important, because for example, when you're a UK company and let's say you're free from any other parent company or whatever, parent brand, you can do what you want almost. But when you've got that overseas brand, I feel like there might be a sense of, like, you can't go, you know what I mean, like, fully. So what are some of the challenges of managing Complex?
When we started, we definitely had to gain people's trust. But again, from the work that I've done before, I knew all the artists, so it's not, I didn't have I need the exclusive, like, I could bring up someone and be like, can we sort out this interview? So that kind of helped a big way as well, because I already had experience and links and whatnot.
Okay, so then looking back, from 2014, how would you describe Complex's growth? Because it's definitely grown, but how would you put that into words yourself?
Just have to look at the followers, innit? I mean, obviously we could have done better in 4 years, but, like, we've got like 500,000 on Facebook and 115,000 on Twitter. We just did that organically. Us, me, Lewis, a few people in the office, and just building on that. And the brands, they obviously, Complex is a brand. It's a big brand, so brands are automatically gonna want to work with you. Do you know what I mean? Because they've already seen in America, Complex is the thing. So that's kind of been the easy side. But I don't deal with all the money things. But on a social media level and a respect level, I'd say we've done quite alright.
Okay. So then moving on to the latest platform, Trench. What made you and the Trench team want to introduce that platform? Because obviously you got Complex, so someone that follows you, just objectively speaking, they might look and think, well, like, you're already the editor of this one big site, so why do you want this other one, kind of thing? So what made you want to bring this platform into the game?
Do you know what? When you're working for people for so long, like, I might be the boss and all that now, or whatever, I've got control or whatever, but it's still, Complex ain't mine. It's not I didn't birth it. So I didn't birth MTV, I didn't birth all these other places I wrote for. So I thought, why not put something together where it's, comes from me, my passion, and just try it out, innit? I always wanted to do it. Me, myself, and Hyper Frank. Well, I kind of brought the opportunity in, brought Hyper Frank along because she's just the don, innit? Like, photography, everything. She knows what's good. So yeah, we just put our head together. Yeah, Trench magazine, Trench in the trenches, in the underground. We're out there. You find her in every mosh pit. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we're about. So yeah, like after 10 years writing for people and working for other people, you want to have something for yourself.
Yeah,
Why did you start your? Do you know what I mean? Why did you start your thing?
Similar thing, innit?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I really, 'cause that's another point. It's like, you know, with a lot of people, they start out, and then I feel like most people with the internet, they realize that I could in theory create my own platform, and then it could all be so great. But then not everyone kind of makes that jump, because when you're running like a platform, I know this just from like my time with Plugsville, like your responsibilities change. Like you start the platform thinking, I'm just gonna pump out fire articles, fire photo shoots. It's gonna be fire. But then there's loads more to it. You gotta basically do so much things to like run your own platform. I feel like it's a bigger challenge than it might present.
People think it's easy, but it's not easy.
When did you guys launch Trench?
Last September, so it'll be a year. Yeah, September.
So like less than a year. That's quite a short space of time, and it's kind of hit in a certain way. So in terms of the branding, how would you advise to people out there like putting together a coherent brand and not getting lost in the sauce?
Don't get lost in the sauce by focusing on what you are on. Like, don't worry what everyone else is. Do you know what I mean? Focus on your goal. You don't need to be at every industry party egging up yourself. Like, focus on what you got. You should be at home putting together a plan, put together, mission statement. What's my plan? What does this website, this blog, my Instagram, what's my aim for it? Like, don't think just short term. You got to think long term. What it's gonna add to the scene. Like, to me, Trench adds, that quality journalism. Obviously, everyone else is doing their thing, but I'm saying Trench-wise, quality journalism about the roads, like the UK underground. Like, it's not really been that for a minute, and when people do try it, it's not really on the level it should be. But it's done in a way that it's like respected on a higher level. The Guardian reader would read it and respect it. That's the kind of thing we wanted to achieve, so I think we've done that.
Am I right in thinking that you guys have a budget? So you have like a back in there.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like when you look at Trench, like if you go on the website after watching this, you'll see that it's like a well put together site. It seems like you guys are kind of like, again, I don't know what you man are doing behind the scenes, but it seems like you're doing the right things in terms of your budget. Because I know some companies and startups especially that they get a budget and it's parties. Literally, like, it's
could still floss, but on my own coin, innit?
Because obviously a lot of people that watching this, they might have a site, but they might not necessarily have a budget. So when they reach that point when they have a budget,
it's a blessing that we got a backing. It's not easy independent. I'm sure you're independent as well. Like, if you've got a budget, you should be paying your writers. If you don't, I definitely understand you got to get people in to do whatever. But even from Complex, like, everyone needs to get paid. It's like, I'll feel funny, cause I'm a writer as well. Like, I come from that, so no one can't ask me to, can you do this piece, and we'll give you a credit, but we can't pay you. Bro, don't email me again. Don't email me again. Don't do that. That's kind of I've always been, unless it's my friend's thing or whatever. But that's not really happened. Like, I've made sure I get
see that though. Yeah, that's quite like, I feel like that's an interesting dynamic, because it's like some people is like they'll be caught in that space where it is like, right, I've reached a point where I expect payment. So like you said, if you email on a free tip, it's a waste of time. But I feel like some people, they might get to a point where they've had months of payment, but it's slowed down. So now they're thinking, like, do I do the free thing? Do I dip back into it, kind of thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, if you can avoid writing for free, I would say. Do you know what I mean? But it depends again. Like, because a magazine might come to you and be like, do you want to do this 3-page story? Then that's a big look. Yeah. So then, do you know what I'm saying? It's different.
Yeah,
it's
you
different.
Have to weigh it. But with writing about music in the UK,
it's not really a lot of money in it.
Exactly. It's a tough one. So how would you advise people, like, if you can't get paid right now, what steps would you say that people should take to try and increase their value so they can set themselves up to get paid a bit later on?
Do you know what? Cause I never did the intern thing, but now I look at it, because I've had interns and they've helped and they've benefited, and then they've come on as like staff writers or whatever. So I'd say try and maybe find the right place to intern. You never know your chances. It could be like, we've got this opportunity. after 6 months, do you want to come on as a staff writer or whatever? So I'd say that. I'd say that is the main. Yeah.
One thing I'd also say is like, if you're not getting paid, you like.
Because most interns, they get paid now. So,
interns often, but let's say you don't get an internship. Is like one thing I would say is like, just keep going. Like as long as you believe, for me, it all comes down to, as long as you believe in your abilities, and you know that if it's not popping now, it will come later. Like if you have that belief, just ride out that wave. Like if you got a bredge in there, you need to moan, like whatever. Get out your system, but just ride the wave, knowing that your time is coming. If you stick
patience
at it.
As well.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it wasn't gonna happen for me, but it did eventually after about 5 years. But do you know what I mean? It takes time, bro. It takes time. You know what I mean?
So with Trench, then, like you launched last year September. So what's your aim with the platform moving forward? What are you guys trying to like achieve, or any landmarks you're trying to hit, or anything like that?
Well, the aim now is to do like a couple of parties, every 2 months or whatever. Just to like make it a bit real, innit? Because you could be on the website all day, but real, what's going on? How you moving the scene forward outside of the website? Do you know what I mean? So we're trying to do that, and we're doing like 2 issues, like a fanzine every year. So we did DWE for the first one, and we're in talks for the second one, hopefully before the end of the year. So that's kind of where we're at the moment, just to build on that, really.
To build outside of the website, like grow the brand offline,
it's important,
basically.
It's important. Because online, there's everyone online, innit? So competition's everywhere. Obviously, we've got our little niche now. We know people come for, but you still got to build something outside of that.
Yeah, you got to get people actually saying real words, not just
real,
text
real life stuff, man.
Not just WhatsApp. You need real speech.
Trust me, yeah, exactly.
All right, so when I was looking, this is like one fact that's always stuck out to me is like in 2016, The Guardian, they posted a report saying journalism in the UK is 94% white. So what advice would you give to other black writers and other minority groups?
Well, I wrote a piece for Complex in 2016 called what was it called again? What was it? Why we need more black British writers in music journalism. I just focus on music journalism, innit? Because Enemy writ a review on Giggs' album, basically saying where he said rate her, R-A-T-E, and they thought he said rape, R-A-P-E. Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah,
right. So that's a big problem. Like if you don't have people in your office or on your contributing list that don't know the culture, don't know the slang, that's a problem. And in the piece, I basically said like we need more young black faces in these establishments, because if you're gonna write about music, and black music is running the world right now, UK music, black music, innit? So black people writing about the music as well, who don't, do you know what I mean? You can't just have these old people in shirt and ties writing about grime, like it don't make sense. So it's a sticky one.
Cool. One other article I read recently, obviously it's the piece about this whole
Grime's dead, innit? What?
Exactly.
Come to me, what, brother? No joke.
So yeah, let's start off with that. Yeah, it's like one thing that sticks out to me with this Grime, and I say it in quote unquote because I don't believe that it's dead. Yeah, and this is why. Like I was thinking about this. It was like Skepta. I think he's still in top 20 American charts. Bugsy Malone. I know his last project before the album, it went top 5. I think this one will do mad numbers as well. Big Nasty's on TV. P Money's and Lil Dinu's thing was hard. DWE's coming out soon.
D-Double, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like, if all of this is happening and Grime is quote unquote dead, doesn't that show how strong the scene actually is?
Without Grime, there will be no Afro swing movement. That's categoric.
For people that don't understand, like,
even road rap, yeah, like it's still a Grime energy, because Grime come before all of these things.
Let's explain why that is, though, because I've said that to people before and they've hit me back like, oh well, Afro swing ain't popping because of Grime, blah blah. Like, so explain why is that the case, that Grime?
If it wasn't for Skepta, That's Not Me, Meridian Dan, German Whip, Stormzy's success, yeah, these scenes wouldn't be popping right now, because the media, the mainstream, automatically bans everything together as Grime anyway. That's what they've been doing, even though we know it's not the right thing. But Grime excited everyone. Like, this is the new movement. This is like the face of UK Britain. Do you know what I mean? So without Grime, what would we be talking about? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It came first. Like,
you're right, because
like,
you know how it all gets grouped in, and that whole urban thing is that a lot of these, like, we know the difference, but to some people out there who are helping this kind of stuff to grow, they'll look at it and think like, I don't know, like, Be Young. Oh, that's a new grime artist. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this, and it gets grouped in as grime because grime has blown up so much that.
But from that blowing up, you've got people doing their own little section of things. You got the Afro swing. You got the. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the same. We know it's not the same.
Yeah.
But in the bigger scale, in the Telegraph and whatever, it was this new grime MC, and it's blood clot like Kojo funds, like so. That kind of element, I think people have benefited off the grime explosion.
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
Like,
you know, with grime though, it's like one thing I would say: the culture ain't dead, but. Like I would agree that what you said there in the article, like I would say releases apart from an individual selection, there it's not like I don't feel the same excitement that I felt.
That's the problem.
A year ago or 2 years ago, but I still wouldn't say it's dead. It's just quiet. It's just
grime
like anything. It's just peaks and troughs. It's just going through a slightly quiet moment. It's gonna rise up again.
Yeah, of course.
But with the releases, what do you think about this? Like, do you think promo is overlooked? Now, why I ask that is because Stormzy's album, let's look at that. That went #1. It did all the records, all the streams. He set a record and Ed Sheeran broke it. He did bits. He did. I think he did pretty much everything or most things he set out to do with that album, and a lot of that came from strong promo in my eyes. Like, how many just music, like lyrics we hear, like albums coming, can you hear that? Like all the time he'd drop those hints. There'd be so much build up onto it. It was a massive deal. Skepta, massive deal. But do you feel like promo is being overlooked? Because it don't feel like we've kind of had a big kind of campaign or marketing thing to kind of like be excited in, or you know what I mean? Like,
what you talking about on a grime level?
Yeah, just grime, innit? Not like the whole every sound, just with grime projects.
There ain't been promo like anything on the promo thing because no one's making anything worthy of that. Does that make sense? Like, no one's releasing, no one's got an album to talk about. So what we're gonna just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a bit mad. Like, obviously grime can't die. It's a culture. It's a movement. It's the way people talk, the way we dress, and whatever that comes from grime.
With that piece you wrote, you were saying it needs a shake up. So define shake up, innit? What do you think needs to happen in your eyes for things to pick up?
It's not even the younger. Like, what we need is for the elders to really sit back, look at the landscape. How can I add to the grime scene? Yeah, because it's been too long. I wrote a review on DWE's album. I basically said, Gang Signs and Prayer dropped a year ago. Konnichiwa 2 years ago. That's a long time. We have had nothing worthy of any conversation since then, really. You can have articles, you can have books and whatever to keep it a little bit, exciting. But at the end of the day, you need the music to talk. That's it. Like, you can't really get around that.
Yeah, it's true.
The music's not, living up to any. Obviously, people like Big Zoo and all these people drop singles, but maybe it's our fault we're not pushing certain music hard enough. Maybe we're not, attacking. Say, boom, let's get behind this single. Maybe we need to wait for a Skepta or a Kano to come through and be like, yo, this is the new tune. I don't like. That's what I don't.
It's true,
It needs a shake up.
It's true.
Like, I don't know what is going to come out of it.
as a platform, it's like, as someone that runs a platform, in the past year or so, there have been tunes.
I'm getting a bit waved, don't watch me.
In the past year or so, there has been tunes where it's like, or instances where I thought to myself, like, I don't particularly like this tune, but I know my fans might. I know the readers might. So like, I remember Kamikaze dropped something.
Kamikaze's a good artist.
I thought that was hard, and I was in a position where I was thinking, I want to review this project, but I don't feel like my audience are banging on a grime thing right now. But I thought to myself, I thought about it and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna just put it out there. If only a few people do like it, the review, then cool. But I feel too strongly about this piece of work that I can't just. Because my fans, like, I didn't even have fans about my fans. I didn't even have fans, but you know what I mean?
Cool.
I can't just be dictated by that. I have to be dictated by what I think, what my brand think is good. So I wrote the review.
Good music is good music.
Yeah, good music is good music.
P Money and Little D, they dropped their back-to-back EP, which is impressive. Like, but I think we need a proper grime album to just get excited about again. And I think DWE will will do that when he drops Jackham.
You think DWE is gonna? That's gonna be the.
It might not be the most lyrical. You get me, but it's grime, and it's at its core, it's just grime. He's spitting that. Just D double, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I think one of the first articles I ever wrote was Giggs was released from jail for Link Up TV, innit? Okay. I looked back on that the other day and I was chatting to Rashid. He was like, yeah, that's a...
What do you mean for Link Up TV? Like, what?
On their website, innit?
Oh, for Link Up... Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I started writing 6 years ago, so it's kind of long, but not like amazing.
Yeah, that's long. That's long, bro.
Yeah, it's a bit of time still.
Put a couple shifts in. Yeah.
But if someone's thinking, rah, I want to start something today, 2018, right now, what advice would you give them?
Know what you're writing about. Like, don't come in the game trying to be a rap journalist, a grime journalist, a pop journalist, R&B. Find your lane, stick to that, hone your skills as much as you can, because everyone's doing everything. Do you know what I mean? With me, like, I can't even explain. Like, I don't know. People might call me a grime journalist, but like, when you love something, it comes out in the writing, innit? So if you love R&B, stick with that. Go and write about LMA and all these people coming up, the new artists. Find the new artists. Find about, try and get interviews and stick with that. Find a lane, I'd say. Don't try and be everywhere, because that's when people get lost in the sauce. Do you know what I mean? So I'll just say, find your lane. Try and hone your skills as much as possible, because we ain't got time to be editing a piece for 5 hours. Like, allow it. You've got to be on point right now. We ain't got time for that. Unless you're an intern, that's different. I'll help you, but don't send me a pitch and the pitch is a bit off key. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But that's my advice. Just know what you're on. Just find your lane. Find your niche. If there's any left. You know what I mean?
That's definitely true. I would also say, don't do it. I keep looking at this like this is the camera. It ain't a camera, but
why are we lit in here though? What?
We're lit still. But what I would say is, like, just know what, like JP said, know why you're here, innit? Like, if anything, do this. If you're looking at this thing, I want to start doing something today, do this and tell yourself, I'm not getting not one penny from this for at least 2 years. Will I still be bothered doing this? Do I love this enough?
You know your place. Yeah. And you get respect that way, because I know that's how I came up. Like, I got respect from knowing my boundaries. I don't want to be
knowing your boundaries.
Know your boundaries, man. I got my
own
own friends. I don't need you get me MC friends. We're cool. We could be cool all day, like go have a drink or whatnot, but there's a professional standard. We can be all rah talk slang and bum. We could be like that. Be yourself, innit? Yeah. But you still need to be professional in a sense. In that sense,
I'd also say know your position, innit? Like, this is coming from someone that I've done for varying sites, like big sites, small sites. Like, if like, assess the game, innit? I got a little TED talk coming out about this. So, like,
you're doing a TED talk?
I did one, innit?
Sick. What? That's hard. That's hard. Nah, I couldn't do it still. I'm not even.
Bro, the first time I did that, like, now I'm all talking podcasts. What?
Yeah.
When I did that TED talk, it was the first time I'd ever spoken in front of an audience ever, and it was on my birthday.
How many people in there?
Like 200, bro.
Never.
It was mad.
I couldn't do that, bro. I wish, bro. Universities are like, can you come and talk to the young kid? I'm like, do you know, I don't feel well, I can't make it. I can't. I'm just shy. I'm a shy person, innit? So this is a one-off.
But if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, iTunes, subscribe, rate and like, SoundCloud, another episode of PlugTalk. Peace.
PlugTalk.